April Live. My co-host is Betty Wonderful.
Hi, everybody.
My guest speaker is Susan. Greetings.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Heather.
You're welcome.
Susan, welcome.
Thank you.
Heather, I don't even think I told you the backstory. I was so excited to meet Susan in a new group that I joined called the National Association of Women Business Owners. NAWBO.
Yeah.
I had to think of what all the letters stand for. I
too.
think I got that right.
Yeah.
And it was my first event there, and I was lucky enough to sit at a table for lunch with Susan and met her and heard about her interior design business. And we were able to make a connection and stay in touch. So I'm so excited that she's on your show today, Heather.
Me too. I can't wait. What is your background for designer?
My background as a designer. So originally I worked as an artist and a custom picture framer. And I did that for a long, long time and eventually started to get a little itchy and wanted a new career. So I started looking around to all the different college programs that are available. And I went to Drexel University and got my master's in interior architecture and design. So that's where I started. And then afterwards, I worked in a related field. To spare you the long and short of it, it didn't work out for me with that firm, but I had the opportunity to start my own business. So I started my own business, and I've been Susan Rains Design for about 6.5, 7 years now.
Wow. Do you get the master's degree or the degree for designer?
So I have a master's in interior design. My first degree was in art.
Oh, what kind of art do you do?
When I was in college, I mainly focused on fibers. So that was a lot of weaving and dyeing fabrics. And I also did a lot of ceramics, so pottery, things like that, and woodworking. I would make things with wood. I was very much into all the crafting things. But believe me, like through my childhood and through high school, I've pretty much dabbled in every art medium you can think of. So I love it all. The only thing I haven't really done is working in metal, but I still love making things with my hands, and having the art background works really well as an interior designer too. It definitely informs my design and creativity. All those were very good foundations for the interior design practice that I have now.
Wow. Did you always want to be an interior designer?
No, actually, I never even thought about going into interior design for the longest time. You know, when I was a kid in high school and college, I wanted to be an artist, and I was an artist for a long time. After college, I mostly did silk paintings and dyed silk for scarves, and I would sell them at local craft shows. Maybe you've been to an art or a craft show. So that would be me at one of the booths selling my artwork. I did that for a long time, and you know, working for a long time, like as a custom picture framer, looking for a new creative career. I learned about interior design and how it can really help people heal in different situations, like in a healthcare setting. It can help people heal faster, like if they have surgery, or maybe if you're a person who's nervous to go to the dentist, you can do things in the dentist office to help people feel less anxiety, less stressed out about seeing the dentist. So that's really what got me excited about the idea of becoming an interior designer. And that's what led me into being an interior designer. It's kind of funny. You usually hear people talk about how they were, when they were a kid, they always played around in their room and rearranged their furniture. But I was drawing and painting when I was a kid. You know, I never didn't even cross my mind. It wasn't until, I wanted a new career, and I was just so excited about design's ability to be more than just something pretty, to actually be really helpful. to people.
Wow.
Yeah, Heather, that reminds me of our friends at Perkiomen Valley Brewery.
Yeah,
That-
that's remind me that too.
Yeah, that have that accessible brewery and all the thoughtfulness that went into the colors on the walls and the material of the floor, the material
Mhm.
of the ceiling to make
Yeah.
sure that sounds weren't overwhelming to people or visually it wasn't overstimulating.
Mhm.
And where things are placed so people have safe places where they feel comfortable or can kind of retreat from the craziness when they need, just a little break.
Yes.
So that we know so well in what we do with disability inclusion and accessibility, how
Mhm.
important the environment is for people's ability to engage and feel comfortable and belong.
Definitely. Yeah, that's
true.
what I love the most. I like to learn a lot about my clients and maybe what their goals are or things that are, frustrating for them in their home and really helping them, move forward and achieve their goals and make their home a friendlier, happier place to live.
What kind of designer do you make?
What kind of what?
The designer, what do you make?
What do I make? I usually work
Right.
in
My question is, what do you make with the designer? DESIGNER. What do you make?
what
Like,
do I
what does she
make?
make as a designer? Like, what does she
Yes.
create?
Yes.
Mm.
Mostly I create homes. I help create people's living rooms and dining rooms. I seem to do a lot of living rooms and dining rooms. I've also helped people design their bedrooms so that they can get better sleep and feel better every day. Sleep is so important to feeling good and doing their work well, right? I also work with a kitchen designer and help him select the materials for, his clients' kitchens. So I've played a part in almost every space in the home.
Wow.
I wonder with COVID and more people working from home and staying at home then afterwards, have you been doing a lot of like home office work?
I have done 2 home offices. Yes.
And my question, Bev, thank you.
Oh my gosh, because we were just talking about, I could really use Susan in here. Let's just say
Yeah.
that.
Me too.
Make you a home office.
Yeah,
Nice cozy
because
home
you want to
office.
work in a space that inspires you, that gives you an ability to clear your mind and be
Yes.
organized. And that's really important. And for
Right.
you, like, I
You
didn't
want to
even
be
think of
able
that.
Yeah,
The
you want to
ability
be
to
able
have
to
that.
focus, but also feel energized and relaxed, as you
Yes.
work. So it's this kind of fine balance of energy and and being relaxed enough to let the ideas flow, right, as you're working. And Zoom backgrounds, you would imagine, come into play a lot with the home office now. With so many people working from home, they want to create a nice background for themselves and make it easy to get online. I myself have special lighting in my office so that, I look decent on camera. I'm not too shadowy or whatnot. So yeah, that was part of the both of the home offices that I designed, was creating that Zoom friendly background for them.
Wow, that's amazing.
I
Thanks.
know. I could use
Yeah.
that.
What kind of design do you do?
Like besides home design, like does she
yeah.
do any other kind of thing besides home
Yeah.
design?
Yeah.
Yeah, so other than home design, I have done 2 commercial spaces. Well, I've done 1 commercial space and I'm currently working on one that's an apartment building. I'm helping them kind of update their hallways and the foyer when you first walk in. But actually, my very, very first project when I started my business was for Life Cycle Woman Care. If you happen to know who they are, they provide like gynecological care for women from, I don't know, like 13 all the way through, I don't know, the end. But one of the big things that they do is it's a birth center. It used to be called Bryn Mawr Birth Center. And
Oh.
I had my son there. And shortly after, when I was thinking about starting my own business, I approached the director about updating their birth suites. And she was interested, and before I knew it, there I was presenting to the board with my ideas. And yeah, I updated the birth suites at Life Cycle Woman Care, and that really meant a lot to me because I've had such a good experience with them. They provide just excellent care, and I couldn't have asked for a better place to have my baby. So I was really happy to have that opportunity.
Wow.
Wow, that's the place where you really want people to be relaxed and have a good
Yes.
experience,
Yeah,
right?
true. Yeah.
For sure.
And in healthcare, that's so important. I know we even noticed I had, I don't, no one wants to end up in urgent care, but recently my daughter had a little interaction with a friend's dog, a little bite, and we needed to go over to urgent care. And she noticed, she said, they did a great job choosing the paint color for the walls. And, here she is with, kind of this big injury. And, and while they were stitching her up, she said, I'm just going to look at this picture. And it was a picture of, I forget if it was like a beach, whatever it was just very calming and relaxing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, oh my gosh, look at like the thoughtfulness that went into, these urgent care rooms. I could just see the influence that had on her and how it really
Yeah.
helped in a tough situation. So the power
Right.
of design is just, it's amazing. It's
It
so
is.
important.
It is. I, for the longest time, honestly thought of interior design as just something that was just fluffy and kind of superficial. But when I learned about the impact that it can have on your health and your well-being, well, that just changed everything for me. And now, of course, I see the world through different eyes, especially in situations like you're describing where you're seeing like, wow, really thoughtfully done. And actually, when I went to Drexel, my intention was to go into healthcare design. But along the way, I realized with my past working experience and working in a firm that was more commercially focused and well, anyway, I figured out that I am better suited to working with people one-on-one. And I really like the residential arena because I'm very tactile, very visual. So I really like being more in that space. And yeah, I'm better working with people one-on-one. I really like to get to know somebody and work with them more closely.
What do you like to do when you're not working?
When I'm not working, I love to be outside. The outdoors are probably my most favorite thing in the whole world. If I have a day off and I'm not busy, my first thought will be, what can I do outside? We go camping a couple times a year. My son and husband and I, we go camping 3 times a year. And we just did that, our last one for this year about 2 weeks ago. And I was really trying to savor every moment of it because I know winter's coming. It's going to get cool and we're going to be inside more. So I was trying to soak it in. I love being outdoors. I love taking walks outside and, going to parks and gosh, anything that'll take me outside. In the winter, since I'm mentioning winter, one of the things I really like to do is maybe visit a museum. So it could be an art museum or a natural history or a science museum. In fact, we might go to the Franklin tomorrow. It's my wedding anniversary tomorrow, but since it's going to rain like crazy, we thought it'd be nice to do a family day at the Franklin Institute.
That's good.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, we're going to do something outside, go figure, but it's supposed to rain like crazy for the next couple days. So yeah.
Not too many outdoor events going on this weekend.
No.
I know, and Heather, I'm having trouble seeing that face. There we are.
There you are.
I know you're looking. There she is. I'm like, she's going off the screen on me. I know. And this time of, not with the torrential downpours we're going to have, but this time of year, like when the weather is getting cooler and it's just so beautiful. Like I just love living in a state where we have the seasons.
Oh, me too. I love the seasons. Long story short, I lived in Hawaii for about 9 months, and believe it or not, the thing I missed the most were the seasons. It was strange to me to have a warm New Year's Eve. Like it didn't feel right. And I realized, wow, I'm very much, an East Coast person that wants to experience the seasons. I love watching the seasons change. It's beautiful.
Hawaii's nice too, though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
But
nice
yeah,
for
there's
sure.
something about I
Mhm.
love fall is my favorite, so I'm just loving this. And
Yeah, fall is really
yeah, being
beautiful.
outside is it's like its own design, you know,
Oh, and
natural design.
it's perfection. Like everywhere you look, it's perfect. You know, nature is the ultimate designer.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And Heather, I
Makes
know
no
you have a
mistakes.
couple questions left. I'm just going to look in the chat and see if anyone who's tuning in live has any questions for Susan.
what do you do what do you do with leadership about the designer?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What is the leadership? Leadership for the designer? DESIGNER. Leadership.
Oh, like what kind of leadership skills does she need in
Yeah.
her work as a designer?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I
Good
very much need to
question.
be that. Yeah, that's a great question. I very much need to be the leader in my projects. Part of what a lot of my clients are hoping for and looking for is guidance with their home project. So I have a process all outlined for myself that I follow with each project. So I make sure that it flows smoothly, and I'm checking off all the boxes of things that need to be done, and I lead the process so that it goes smoothly and that we have a great end result. Yeah, that's a great question.
What
And
can
as a business owner too, Susan has to lead all of her finance and marketing and
Yes.
everything else
Yes,
besides the
I do
design
that
as a
too.
business
I
owner,
do
right?
that too. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll
What
also
is-
sorry, go ahead, Heather.
what area of business of the designer do you have? Or marketing?
What do I do for marketing?
Yeah.
Marketing, I do a lot of networking, like with Bev. We get together for NABO events. I go to a couple other networking groups and meet people. I actually have some one-on-one Zoom calls with a couple people that I'm going to network with this afternoon. What else do I do? I post on Facebook a lot. There's a couple groups that I'll visit, and people will ask maybe questions about, what to do in their homes, maybe how to arrange their furniture, or looking for a recommendation of someone that they can work with to, I don't know, hang a light fixture, things like that. So I'll try to be helpful and give good recommendations there. Yeah, Facebook's a big one for me. I also use Google My Business and have a Google business page, and that's been good for me to give attention to. I have more people saying that they found me on Google, so I know that giving the Google My Business some juice with my posting is working out. Yeah, those are the main things, and keeping in touch with my past clients. I try to keep up with them and get in touch sometimes and just check in with them. So who knows, maybe they'll need me again, or keeping me top of mind might help them to refer me to a friend, which has happened recently. So that does help.
And that's a big
What-
compliment, right? Heather,
Yeah.
you have a few questions in the chat. Do you want me to read those?
Sure.
Okay. It looks like the first question we addressed, the home spaces and the office and clerical settings. Oh, this is a great question from Brooke. Have you ever designed an outdoor space, and would you want to?
Oh yeah, I did do one.
My question. Oh my God.
You were thinking that too, Heather?
Yeah, you
I
thought
love that idea.
I would love to do one again. It's been a long time since I did one. I did one years ago, maybe the first or second year that I was in business. It was for a very small space behind a home in South Philly. They'll often have, the little patio concrete space, and we tried to green it up, if you will, making it more, lush with plants. And she loved to entertain, so we designed it so that she had a place for her grill and place for people to sit and hang out and a place to eat. It's been a while. I would love to do an outdoor space. Maybe, who knows, maybe come spring, someone will want to do that with me again.
What kind of office do you do for the designer? What kind of office do you have?
This is my office. Welcome to my office. Yeah, I work from home. This is the third bedroom technically, and I turned it into my office. I do have a guest bed back here, and that's where I sit to meditate in the morning. So it has multiple uses, but I love working from home. Right outside my office is the kitchen. So I can always get a drink or a snack or eat from home. It's very convenient. You can't beat the commute to your home office.
Right.
Wow.
It's so beautiful.
I love it.
We
Suits me
have
well.
some other people watching. If anybody has questions that they want to pose in the chat on Facebook Live, we will bring them up here. We have some people tuning in. I don't see any other questions, Heather, right now.
Like, what can I do at my house to make it happier?
To make it happier. Yeah, there's quite a few things you can do to make your home happier. I think color, Beth had mentioned color in the healthcare space, and that's definitely a thing that you can do in your home as well. You know, thinking about, there's a lot of psychology behind color. There's a lot of psychology behind it, and then it's also particular to the person and their experience, you know, culturally, and you know, where they've grown up and whatnot can really have a big influence. So learning about my clients and what they want to achieve, you know, in different areas of their home, in the home office, for example, that's a great place to think through the psychology of color and the work that they do, and maybe what colors could be the best, you know, to surround themselves with. Blue is a great color for the office, by the way. What else? Fitness. Health and fitness. So if you are a person who likes to work out at home, or is trying to get into a habit of exercising, creating a space for you to do that, you know, dedicating a place in your home, making it feel very friendly for you, easy, friendly to get in there and do your exercise, you know, no obstacles to achieving, you know, to getting that habit, to getting it in, right? Making it easy for yourself, maybe even, you know, decorating it in a way that's inspiring or, you know, energizing to you could be a great thing that would make your overall happiness, give a little overall happiness boost, right? Getting that exercise in. Functionality and making it accessible is really important, you know, making sure that it's easy for anybody and everybody that comes into the space, that they can use it without straining or struggling. You know, who wants to struggle in their own home? You want it to be easy. You want it to be easy for everybody that comes over. So making sure there's enough space so people can walk around easily, or if someone's in a wheelchair, that they can move around through that space easily and it not be a problem. I think those are all things that can make your home happier.
Wow, I like that. What do you
Yeah,
do?
we find, oh, hey, what about, I love this idea of like universal design, that a
Yes.
lot of times we're finding that, you know, ideas that might be especially relevant to people that might have a physical disability, or, you know, different sensory preferences or things like that. It's
Mhm.
great when we realize that sometimes we design something to make sure we're including people of all abilities, but then at the same time, we realize that it's beneficial for all people. And it's just good
Truly.
design, period, right? It's just
Yes.
good universal design. So
Yeah.
it's fascinating to see some of that work that's being done at Thomas Jefferson University. And we're so excited to share about that and to think, you know, something as simple as color, just the power of that
Yeah.
to invoke
Really.
feelings and moods.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
I
I have a certificate in aging in place, and
oh,
that
Wow.
included a lot of you know, accessibility and universal design elements, which exactly what you're saying, Bev. Like, I'm learning these things and realizing, well, this is also great for maybe someone that has children, you know, making it easy to use and having, say, maybe like a lower countertop that's easy for
yeah.
someone who maybe needs to sit down, you know, to, I don't know, roll cookie dough, for example. Some people might need to sit down. Someone might be in a wheelchair, or you might be a child and you're, you know, short. You're still
Me.
short. And that
Thank you.
for them too. Yeah, so really like for everybody. It's just,
I have two more
I
questions.
love all that.
Okay, my question is, do you work
Yes.
with people with disability or without the disability or ability?
Yes, I have. I've worked with a lot of older people, you know, maybe like, I don't know, 65 plus that need, you know, some special consideration taken into their home to make it more accessible. But yes, I feel like with my background in aging in place and universal design that would also apply to any disability that might come up.
What do you do?
And that's what we
with
say.
the
We say,
bad-
you know, if you're, oh, go ahead, Heather. I think you broke up for a second. Can you repeat?
No, you with me. What do you do? What do you get the community back from you?
I think I know what you're asking. Correct me if I'm wrong. So how does Susan give back to the community?
Yes.
And then how does she feel when she does? What does the community give back to her, right?
yes.
That it goes both ways?
Yes.
How do I give back to the community? So I guess the two main ways that I do that is is actually through donating to different nonprofits for their auctions and fundraisers. I do that quite a bit. There are a couple that are, I guess, in my regular routine of donating to. I volunteer time with NABO. I'm on the membership committee, so I serve in that way to, you know, help bring people in and make them aware of NABO and what the benefits are of being part of that organization. I also volunteer at my son's school. I do that on occasion, especially for their parties. I love helping out when they have their Halloween party or their Valentine's Day party, and that's a lot of fun for me. I mean, I guess that's what I get out of it more than other things is volunteering at the school, because it's just so much fun to be around the children and helping out.
You just brought me back. My kids are in high
I
school.
do.
So
Are they?
we don't have, do you remember those parties, Heather? Those fun, and Heather worked in a preschool,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
you know, all those different parties you would have around holidays and
Yeah.
festivals. And
Yeah.
now in high school, they don't invite parents in, and they don't have
No, they
parties
don't.
anymore.
Oh, I guess they don't. I mean, I should know that. I was in high school at one time. Yeah, there were no there were no parties, but for now,
Yeah.
they have like a homeroom parent, and she often will ask for help, you know, preparing for the party and maybe making a
Yeah.
game or something, you know, and bringing it, and then being there on the day to help the kids out and everything.
Oh, I miss
That's a lot of
doing
fun.
that.
I really enjoy that. I'm trying to savor my son, and you know, while he's young. I'm going to savor him
Yes,
my life,
yes,
but I'm
do
really
that.
trying to savor these years as much as possible. That was a big reason why I started my own business, was that I wanted to be around as much as I could with him, especially when he was really little and, you know,
Yes.
needed driven to preschool and picked up, and, you know, when he was just teeny tiny, and I would work when he was taking a nap. That was when my work time was. So it was very much part-time for quite a few
Yeah.
years. And now that he's in school, I get to really dedicate more
Wow.
full-time.
I've been needed.
It is how moms can juggle and, you know, have that, you know, and that's
Yeah.
one of the benefits, because not all women are lucky enough to have that opportunity.
Yeah, I feel very
And it's
grateful.
great, you know, when you have that flexibility and
Mhm.
that,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
you have those memories of, I'm thinking back to those fun parties.
I know. I'm so glad I've done what I've done, because I really am so grateful for all those years that sometimes he would be in here with me, sitting right back there,
Yeah.
playing with something while I was working. And when he was in kindergarten, his first year of kindergarten was during COVID. So he would sit next to me right here at my desk, and he would sit next to me on the laptop and have his kindergarten time. And I would be kind of, you know, just checking in, making sure he was navigating the tablet and everything, right, and doing what he needed to do, and I'd be over here entering my email, and but we were together, and that's, I love that. Spending all that time with him.
Yeah, that was a stressful time for a lot of parents.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh, kindergarten Zoom. Oh,
Yeah. Honestly, I'm really glad it was kindergarten, kind of grateful for the timing of that was
Yeah.
was good. Yeah. He didn't know any different, so it was
right.
easy for
He's
him
like,
to
I don't know what school's supposed to look like.
right. It's so
Yeah,
flexible.
that's interesting.
Yeah, he's so flexible. He didn't know any different, so it was easy for him to just do what needed to be done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Heather, I think we have time for one more question. I know we could talk to Susan for much longer. Have a final question, Susan? I mean, Heather, rather, or Susan.
I would like to thank you for donating to the gala raffle. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, you're welcome, Heather. My pleasure.
And I second that, Heather. We're so grateful because those raffle prizes are what make the event so exciting, because who doesn't like to win
Great.
wonderful things, right? And
Oh
we
my
hope that
gosh,
brings
yeah.
Susan a lot of business.
Absolutely.
And since Heather brought up the gala, we just want to remind people today is September 30th. Hard to believe. But it is the last day of our early bird ticket pricing for our Community Heroes Gala. And we encourage you to, while you're already on our Facebook page, if you're seeing this, if you look up or scroll down, I guess it would be, you will see that yesterday we actually surprised and announced our community hero for 2022.
I saw the picture.
Yes, the McFarland family, Jake Baristas.
Yep.
They are one of our community partners. They open their doors to us and many other community members. They provide a lot of work skill experience for people with disabilities at their cafe, at their coffee shop. And we just wanted to recognize Jake, who shows everyone the ability in autism every day when he not only is a barista, but teaches other students like him how to work and how to serve the community in that way and make amazing coffee. And we are very excited to show up Publishers Clearinghouse style with flowers and balloons.
Nice.
We're glad that the helium shortage ended. We were able to get helium-filled balloons, thankfully, and signs and banners and a big crowd that surprised them on site yesterday. And they are going to be receiving their award in person at our Community Heroes Gala. So you won't want to miss that. Oh, it's so happy. I'm so excited because I don't have to keep it a secret anymore. It was so hard to keep that a secret, Heather.
I didn't go, but I did it. I thought it on the picture you put on Facebook.
Yes, we shared it out because we were so excited. Not everyone, of course, could be there.
Do I can see it.
Yes.
Thank you, Bev.
Of course. We wanted to share that. And we're welcoming Brian Propp to the stage. He is a Philadelphia Flyers Hall of Fame member, all-star, has an amazing story to share about living with an acquired disability. So some of us, like Heather, have their disabilities since birth, right? Down syndrome.
Yeah.
Other people like Brian Propp, for example, had a massive stroke a few years ago. So it shows us that any one of us can acquire a disability at any time. And we want to make sure that we have tools and strategies and support so that it doesn't get in the way of the everyday life that we want to have and our success, right? And that's why we all need a village to make sure we're building an inclusive community where everyone can be welcomed. So Brian Propp will be coming to the stage for a keynote. It's night at the races. We still have some horses available for adoption for a $50 sponsorship. You can get your name or your company's name on a horse. Everyone will be shouting the name of the horses as they run on the screen. And then you win the funny money for raffle prizes. So it's an amazing, amazing event. We did it last year. It's going to be even more exciting this year. So we hope you'll join us and grab your tickets at the early bird pricing that'll end tonight at 11:59. So we wanted to remind everybody about that. And a quick shout out, since today is the end of the month, we wanted to shout out the sponsors for the event we have so far. And we're so excited to thank Merrill Lynch, Pete Bednarik of Merrill Lynch, the Communities Cup, Rebar Kelly Law Firm, Emco Technology, O3 World, Aetna, Harleysville Bank, Independence Blue Cross, Premier Payroll, Giant, the O'Connor Group, Wegmans, Lisa Morello of New York Life, Univest, ColorCon, Ethosource Office Furniture, Pico, Kate Duffy and Morgan Stanley, Holman Enterprises, and Merck. So thank you to our sponsors. We still have a couple days left where you can sponsor and be part of our sponsor promotion. But this event is going to be so exciting and we hope you'll join us. So Heather, why don't you wrap us up for today?
Monday at 12 o'clock to 12:30, Friday 10:30 to 11.
Is Hanging with Heather.
Hanging with Heather.
Who would not want to be on the show with our incredible Facebook Live host?
Yeah.
It was wonderful. Thank you, Heather. I'm so glad I could be here with you.
Me too.
So any final thoughts, Heather? What do you want to wish everybody as we go
Go
into this
outside.
weekend?
Go outside. When go back inside, wash your hands, be straight, be strong, and be safe.
Love that.
Mhm.
Everybody have a great weekend and we'll see you soon.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.